Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me for today's update for Pan That Palette 2017. First of all, I'd like to say a big shout out to Amber F because my apologies, I didn't give credit where it was due because I didn't realise this, but I've been doing a lot of research since my intro, and I've been watching a lot of project pans from previous years, and I believe it's Amber F who sort of created this concept. So I'll link her channel in the description bar. I'm sure if you're watching my channel you'll have heard of hers, and she's fantastic. I'm absolutely addicted to her channel. I've watched her Urban Decay Naked pan that palette now. I've watched her Steal in the Light and In the Know, and she panned Lorac palette. I've watched them all and they're fabulous. So if you love project panning, then you'll love her and you'll love her channel. And she also shows some great tutorials on how to use the products, but nevertheless, I'm going to insert a picture now as to the palette as of the intro or at the beginning of the year. And this is what the palette looks like now. So, oh gosh, let's try it this way. Now I have written the names of the shades in Sharpie permanent marker. I regretted doing that because it smelled really bad, but thankfully the chocolate scent has now come back and the Sharpie scent's gone, which is great. Having said that, I did spray the shades with some isopropyl alcohol to sanitize the palette, and then the writing started to bleed, and I think if I did that again it would just come off, so just bear that in mind. It's probably not worth doing in the long run. Anywho, just to update you, now I've got a massive dip in the white chocolate shade. I'll just show you here. So look at that dip there, and the dip, I make myself laugh because in the past I've commented how sometimes you watch a project pan and the pan that you see, the dip is in the exact shape of a tiny little eyeshadow brush, which is something I don't particularly like to do myself. Having said that, I have been using this shade as to set whenever I've used it on the brow bone to set the crease area. I've used it on the lid. I've got it on the brow bone and the lid today. As you can see, it's darker than my skin tone, so it doesn't act as a good highlight for me. But whenever I use it, I dip in this brush, which is the Deluxe Crease Brush by Real Techniques, and so it's left a Deluxe Crease Brush shaped whole dip there. So I'm now that person that does that. That's me. And you'll probably see something similar in Milk Chocolate in regards to a tiny little brush, because I have that in my brows today and I feel like it worked out really well, so I'm going to continue to use that shade in my brows. I'm going to have a look and see how this shade as well semi-sweet looks in my brows, but I'm not sure. At the minute I've got Milk Chocolate and I really like that. Today I've got Salted Caramel and semi-sweet and Triple Fudge in the crease and outer corner, with white chocolate everywhere else and a dash of champagne truffle as my inner corner highlight. And mainly I've got just Salted Caramel and a little bit of Triple Fudge on the lower lash line. So yeah, I went with a really simple, straightforward, natural matte look today because I knew I was going to be wearing this crazy bold lip all day, but I'm not at work. So I watched back on my intro video and I missed out a load of stuff I wanted to say. So this is the first time I'm doing it, guys. This is the first year I'm doing it, so I'm learning as I go along. I bought my palette from Debenhams in the UK. It was £45. It's the most expensive item of makeup I've ever purchased. And it's the first Too Faced palette, Too Faced eyeshadow I've ever purchased. I think it might be the first Too Faced product I'd ever purchased, but I'm not 100% sure on that. This palette is beautiful, and I've mentioned it previously in favourites videos saying I really love it, etc, etc. But the more I use it, the more I'm not sure if it's worth the money. So I do like it, I do like the scent. Some people, I know I've watched their videos, they've said they tolerate the scent for the sake of the shadows. If it wasn't for the scent, I probably would regret purchasing this, because for me that's its really special feature that makes it stand out from dupe versions of it. So this palette I've calculated I've had it for approximately 2.5 years, so bear that in mind. So as a disclaimer, I'm going to say it once. Hopefully I won't have to keep saying it because I don't want to offend anyone. This palette is designed to last for 12 months. It doesn't claim to last for more than 12 months, so any degradation in the shadows is my own fault for not having used it up in 12 months and it's 2.5 years old. Having said that, I've been really struggling with the pigmentation in these eyeshadows, and I've gone back to look at some of my older palettes and cheaper palettes, and I've not got the same problem there. So it has put me off buying Too Faced palettes in future, not because there's anything wrong with the quality, it's because it's just as gross as it might be to some people to hear this, as a makeup collector and a makeup enthusiast, I'm not likely to use my powder products up before their expiry date, because I don't really believe that powder products have expiry date. I mean, you've got to draw the line somewhere, but personally I would expect to get a good 4 years out of powder based products. That's just me, just my personal opinion. People might disagree with me. At the minute, my favourite shades are Champagne Truffle and White Chocolate, which thankfully are the biggest ones in the pan. I've got to say, I would agree with the majority of people of what they've been saying about this that are actually using it. The people that bought it for the first time and they're reviewing it and swatching it, I've watched a few of those videos, and I wouldn't agree with half the stuff coming out of their mouth, but I will say, for people that are actually using the palette regularly and then have gone on to make comments, such as, for example, people who've previously panned it, I would agree with things that they're saying. Like, for example, the hazelnut creme brulee, marzipan, and hot chocolate, or hot chocolate. These shimmer shades, these shades that have, if you can see, a shimmer to them. So this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, with the exception of this one here, are lovely. They're creamy, even amaretto to a certain extent, but mainly these ones here. They're creamy, they're pigmented. I don't feel like the age of them has changed them in any way. But Gilded Ganache is a bit dry. Black Forest Truffle is very dry and scratchy, but I mean, that's to be expected for that one, because if you notice close up, it has a lot of glitter in it, which would cause that to happen. Triple Fudge has gone a bit dry, and so has Semi Sweet. So the shades that have really held their own, have really like come through, are Salted Caramel, these 4 shimmers, Milk Chocolate, Champagne Truffle, White Chocolate. Candied Violet wasn't very pigmented from the offset, and if we talk about Cherry Cordial, which is here, it really is more like a matte with a base with shimmer in it, so it comes off matte on the eyes. And that one, just swatch it for you there, that one, I've watched a lot of reviews that have said that the pigmentation on that is extreme. Now that's possible, that could have been true at first, so again, it's not the palette's fault that it's not as pigmented now, but that shade I absolutely love, and I'm really struggling with getting that to be pigmented on the eyes. So that's the swatch of that one there. I have noticed I've been enjoying this palette a lot more since I have bitten the bullet and scraped off the top layer, and some of them I've done that. And I didn't want to have to do that, because I do feel like it's a waste, but I'd rather do that and enjoy the product. And also, obviously, from a Project Pan perspective, I don't want to be like cheating or be seen to be cheating, but you've got to draw the line somewhere. The ones that I've scratched, I've had to scratch the top layer off Gilded Ganache. I've had to scratch off the top layer of Semi Sweet. Everything else on this side has been fine. Cherry Cordial and Strawberry Bomb Bomb I've had to scratch. Black Forest Truffle I've majorly had to scratch, and Candied Violet I've had to scratch. Amaretto is alright. I'm debating in future whether I'm going to need to have to scratch that one a bit. And Triple Fudge, I was on the fence, should I, shan't I, but I did. It probably would have been usable without doing so, but I do feel like the pigmentation in that has, I mean, that, as you can see, it's not, you know, I mean, I know that's a dry swatch, but I am really rubbing my finger in. That has improved the pigmentation of that shadow to scratch it, so I have scratched that a little bit. So yeah, the major dips are in the really obvious ones at the moment, so probably the ones that most people would find easiest to use up. White Chocolate here, Salted Caramel in the middle, and I've been working on this side here of Champagne Truffle. I also had a little dipping Cherry Cordial in the corner here where I've been working away at that, but since I've scratched that, you can't really see that dip anymore, so there's not really anything else really to show on that. I am enjoying it. I've done a few tutorials on it. I'm going to keep plugging at it. I'm not disheartened from it. I'm just learning my lesson. I'm not sure Too Faced shadows as a general rule should be used past their expiry date, and I am not sure they're necessarily worth the money, but anyway, that's where I am. That's this month's update. Amber F has mentioned recently in one of her videos, or I've heard in one of her videos say that she has noticed that people are saying that Too Faced shadows are particularly hard to pan, and that's her experience as well. So I'm not sure if I've done the right thing for my first ever Pan That palette to pick a Too Faced palette, but at least it'll be a massive accomplishment when I do, you know, achieve it. I did say from the start that I never wanted to completely finish the palette. I'm going to get as close to that as I can, but my main aim is to hit pan in every shade. So I think I've reached my sort of goals in regards to dips. I'm going to carry on moving forwards. I feel like for goals for next month, I would like to see pan in white chocolate, I would like to see pan in champagne truffle, and I would like to just continue to see dips around these areas here. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with that, bang out some more Get Ready With Me's and looks with this. I think I'm going to take Amber F's advice and pan a look, because I didn't think I could do that, because the thought of doing exactly the same look every day is a bit like, ugh, for me. But I think I'm going to do that. I think just because as soon as I start seeing those initial few pans, it'll motivate me and spur me on. So I'm going to pick a look, not 100% sure what it is yet. I will pick one look. I'll probably do a Get Ready With Me on it and tell you, you know, what it is. If I haven't, you know, if not, I'll just pan a look that I've already filmed. But I'm going to pick a look, I'm going to pan that, and then take it from there, and hopefully that will give us one or two pans to start with that will motivate us to continue forward. So let me know in the comments if you're panning this palette or any other and how you're getting on, and I hope as we go along you'll get some useful tips. I will say, if you think you love makeup and you enjoy makeup, pan a palette, because I've learnt so much already, and I've got a feeling I'm going to continue to keep learning with this palette. And I don't think you can really, I'm not sure it'd be fair to say that you can really call a palette your favourite or really review it properly until you've panned it. As I get into it, I realise there's so much about this palette that I didn't know and that I didn't realise when I previously talked about it. So that's not me getting anybody else who wants to review the palette just on a couple of usages and swatches. That's fine, that's your choice. But I think Pan That palette is a great opportunity to really decide, to watch the videos and decide if you actually want to buy this product. I've got the old style packaging, which is the thicker one. It does come with a thinner packaging now, and I'm hoping when I'm done I can actually take these shadows out, which I think you should be able to do, and use this tin for something else. Super cute. Yep, and I shall see you in the next update, which will be around this time next month. Bye guys.